All right, you should have two documents open on your computer. You should have your Greek gods research chart. Hopefully it's pretty filled up with lots of facts about your god. And then you have a blank document opened up. And we're going to title this with your god's name. So you're going to type in your god's name, of course, capitalizing it. Works, cited, and your name. Yes. It should be in your Google Classroom. What did you work on yesterday? Okay, and this is where we're going to collect all of the sources that went with your research project. And who can tell me how many sources were you supposed to use? Owen? 3. Did anybody use 4? Okay, if you look at your chart and you've got a lot of blank spaces here, then you might need to make sure that you go to a 4th source. There should be lots. I mean, I'm thinking this should go on to 2, maybe 3 pages of information. Your goal here was to learn as much as you could about your god, and if you didn't do that, then you might need to make a 4th column here and add some more, add a 4th source. For our purposes right now, though, we're going to use that add-on. And just because I haven't found an easier way to do this, we're going to kind of go through that search process again for both of our books. We could copy and paste them from here, but the formatting gets all messed up and it ends up making a lot more work for you. So we're going to go back here to our EasyBib, and same thing, we're going to Google or search the Greek gods, author's last name, and anyone remember what year was it published? Crazily, City? 1966, but that's okay. And I see 2 choices here. We know that ours was 1966, so it's not the Greek gods that was published in 2001. So we hit select. And it brings it here formatted correctly the way that we want to use it. After you have this source, I want you to go back to your works cited and look at what was your second book. I used the Oh My Gods Megan Bryant book, published in 2010. Some of you might have used the mythology. It looked like the periodic table, little teeny tiny books. Some of you used the Ken Jennings book. You need to, right now, go search the book that you used. So I used Oh My Gods, author's last name Bryant. What did I say? And if you're not sure, you can go back and forth. It was 2010 was the publication. And there's my book. Once I have it, I'm going to click select. And now I have 2 sources that are ready to add to my bibliography. All right, now that I have 2 of my sources here, we're going to add the 3rd source a little differently. It doesn't format very well when we did a search for the website, so we're going to have to do this a little bit differently. But for now, I've got 2 sources. Now I'm going to add bibliography to document, and you'll see, and I can X out of here, that it formats it, it double spaces it, it puts bibliography centered at the top, and it alphabetizes the 2 other sources that I used. Now, the other thing that we need to add here that it doesn't do for us is put our last name in the upper right-hand corner. So we're going to go to Insert, and we're going to insert a header, and it brings up a little box up at the top. Now, in a Works Cited, we want our name all the way to the right. So if you can find where that right align button is, you have the left align, the center. We want the one that says right align. Click that, and it moves your cursor over, and you're going to type your last name, just your last name, space, and a number 1. And the number 1 indicates that this is the first page of your Works Cited. Wait till you go to college and you have 3 or 4 pages of references. You could have 15 or 20 or 30 different books and references that you had to go to gather your information. For right now, we'll just stick to 3, maybe 4. Okay? So If you did another page, it would become Culleton 2, Culleton 3. Hopefully, you're not going past one page, so that's all you need to do here. Okay, and then when you click back into your document, it goes back to, it puts that header up there and you don't have to worry about it again. All right, now is the tricky part. You have a third source here. And we can't just, I asked you to put the hyperlink of the source. Now raise your hand if you use World Book Encyclopedia for your source. Okay, raise your hand if you did Info Ohio search. Raise them high. All right, raise your hand, then I'm assuming the rest of you Googled your God. Okay, so for those of you who Googled your God, let's try this. I want you to go find the hyperlink. So let's say I Googled Zeus, Greek, mythology, facts, and I decided I wanted to use this website, GreekMythology.com. Did anybody use GreekMythology.com? Okay, so if I use this page, and if you just Googled your God, go ahead and do this right now. You can copy and then go back into your works cited in that Easy Bib. Make sure you have website clicked and paste that URL. And if I select it, it brings up the correct formation of it. Okay? And I can add that one to my bibliography. Now, for the rest of us who used a reliable source, you kind of outweigh it. If you used a reliable source, you knew you were going to end up with a source that was going to follow all the rules of your CREP form. So you saved a little work on that end, but now we're going to have to do yours a little bit differently. So you went to Info Ohio. And AJ, I'm going to do yours separately, okay? Because you use World Book. But I'm going to do this for everybody else. Okay. Okay, I'll do yours separately in a second. All right, so I'm assuming that the rest of you who searched Info Ohio just searched your God here. And then you found a document that worked with your God. And you viewed it. Now the beauty of using an Info Ohio source is, if you look to the right of your document, you'll see a link that says Cite. Click Cite. And it'll bring up a box that shows you all the different ways that you can cite the source in different ways. Do you know what is the approved source or the approved citation format that we use in school? MLA. So you're going to scroll down until you find MLA, and you can just copy. Come on. Oh, this is not a good time for you to do this. Come on. All right, so we're going to copy it, Control C, go back into my document here, and paste it. Now, this is the problem. When I look at it, it's got like a weird, it's formatted with the font style from that website. So if I highlight over that, select it, I can just change that text font. Oh. I don't want a black background, I just want it clear. There we go. And now I've got that source in there. So you can just copy and paste it in. Now the only other thing that I would say that you need to do here is just go back and highlight all your text and make sure it's the same, that it's all Arial, that it's all the same text size. I want it to be size 12. Okay. Now if you used World Book Encyclopedia, you're going to do this a little bit differently. If you use World Book, you could go to Info Ohio and search specifically in World Book. The end result is the same. I'm going to go to World Book Student, type in my God. I'm going to do Hera this time so I can show you how to alphabetize this differently. Click on my article. In World Book, down at the bottom of the source information, you have all your choices. So I could highlight my source, and I want to look at alphabetically, where does that fall? Phillips. So I'm going to have to put it after Evelyn and before Zeus. But same thing, I can just paste it in there. And I'll want to go back and just make sure it's the same font size as all of my other sources in there. And that's it. So once you have it saved, well actually it's all saved. Once you have all of your sources in here, you should have your last name in the upper right hand corner in a header. It should have bibliography centered. It should be double spaced. And if you follow the right format using EasyBib, it does this thing called a hanging indentation. It's kind of the opposite of what we do when we're writing. In writing, we indent the first paragraph. In here, we put our source all the way at the margin, and then the second line of that source gets indented. So I can look right at your margin and tell that you used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sources for your project. Once this is done, you're going to go back into your Google Classroom, open up the document that had the assignment for the Greek Gods Research Project, and add this document right below your Greek Gods Research chart. We will turn it all in together next week on Wednesday when everything's due, so you don't need to do it right now. But if you go under here, it says Greek God Research Chart. You on your page should have a little link down here that says Add. So you're just going to add it and go find this document so that you have 2 in here, and they're all in one place. Okay?